Jumping in. Got that tiny update that literally just fixed one problem. Now I cannot for the life of me remember where we were.
I think it's Knockout Tour next.
Moon. If this goes beyond, because it has been a minute. That's done. That's done. That's done. Shell. But we were doing...
We were doing, well, actually it would be first, first...
I can cut past... Mushroom Cup! Keep backing out. And then... After we did the Mushroom Cup, we did this. Then
both of the flowers are done, so
it looks like that's why I can cut around awkwardly. Both of the flowers. Star is done.
So yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's exactly okay. I had it lined up to begin with. Also, collectively, the entire community has decided this is the best vehicle in the game.
Of course people have.
Yeah, because people doing some testing, because no one can hack the Switch 2, people trying to get the hidden stats. Apparently, this thing has the highest... People have, apparently, supposedly figured out what the terrains are. There are only 3 terrains.
I'm guessing it would be regular, like, asphalt, like a racing track. Off-road, that would be dirt, and then other?
No. No. Water is its own terrain. Off-road is its own terrain. And then it is considered road. But the game is actually really funny. Where even certain things that seem like they would quantify more as off-road still count as, like...
So now as new metadata, should we use this or still use the real racer for its, like, highest top speed in the game, especially if we're going back to doing, especially if we're going back to
if we're going back to Knockout Tour, you have to remember something. Since most of the game is road, this thing apparently...
Oh, that's right. What courses are you going to go through on this?
Yeah. It's all road except for the, like, one water track. So this might actually be... Because, supposedly... People figured out that the game, like, these stats are apparently lying.
Okay, every Mario Kart
yes,
has done that
but
shit.
Apparently, no, every Mario Kart obfuscates. These stats are apparently lying in a way that really pisses people off because those hidden asphalt, off-road, or water stats apparently equal a hidden, like, speed block. So while this is 2 bars and a tiny bar...
Didn't 8 do something similar where the stats in it were basically split
Yeah, apparently my fucking average is actually far closer to the rest of the bar of that tiny block, and I'm pointing at the screen. Apparently my average...
It's actually closer to the 3rd block in speed.
It apparently would dip into the 4th.
So, and if Wario is still the character with the best ground speed, that means Wario with this is the best combination in the game?
What people figured out, since the vehicles mostly taper out with the same base stats, the character choice almost doesn't matter as much since the vehicle is doing most of the stat lifting. So apparently this would be disgusting or if we were running a version of Bowser. Alright, I just want to look at the where he gets slightly better speed, but it almost doesn't matter because apparently the one thing is cracked out of its gourd, so I might experiment.
You also have the easier AI.
I'll use him. Okay, I can
You can actually play the video game now.
do some cutting and maybe leave some of that explanation in. If I fail, I'll cut to the successful attempt, and then the, like, extra footage will just be whatever screwed me over. You just need to maintain your lead, and I might go back to the real Razor, because it does naturally have such an alarming amount of speed. This middle ground isn't as good, and I might swap back to...
Isn't as good for this specific scenario.
I just keep getting griefed. At least the losses are easy enough to edit, because not much was going on. I just keep getting past or dumb shit happening. I'm trying to explain the stat thing for the millionth time. That the reason everyone's more butthurt on the supposed stats is because the game, more so than anything, is supposedly averaging the stats together.
Even though I swear that is something the older Mario Karts did. I swear 8 did that exact same thing, where the stats were based around all of, like, the different speeds in 8, like your mini turbo speed on water, speed in the glider, so on and so forth.
Just do this. Oh, for that reason. No! So, people, because they're way too hung up on this, apparently the game has never averaged the stats into the calculation. They've always been...
I swear I remember people went through this exact same shit with 8, where in 8, the stats are technically a lie, because the stats, that, like, 3 speed in 8 is basically divide up every, like, subcategory of speed into, like, a 15% sliver. And that's how 8 really calculated stats, so I'm pretty sure this is nothing new.
Apparently it's new, because apparently even 8 doesn't actually calculate in the way that this game supposedly calculates.
This really does feel like, until we can get more definitive information, like people data mining the game, I don't want to say it, but I am just going to say it.
Damn it!
This really does feel like a lot of other things with this game. This kind of feels like y'all are just looking for something to complain about. Like, I don't want to say that, but it really, really does feel that way, where because you people don't like this game, you have to basically bullshit reasons to not like it, as opposed to just not liking the game. You can just say you don't. You can just say you don't like the game, or don't like the open world, or whatever. You don't need to basically act like, oh, they've uprooted the, like, sanctity of Mario Kart.
But to go back to the supposed thing I was trying to say regardless, is supposedly because it's averaging the stats. Supposedly, because of the averaging, if we can argue up and down if 8 is the same or not, even though supposedly it isn't, that because of the way it obfuscates and because of the way it averages, that most vehicles actually have truly an extra level of speed that goes far beyond what is actually on the display. And this extra level of speed means a vehicle like this supposedly is...
Except by...
Hold on, here comes a blue shell. Alright, I gotta get it when it's spray.
Except this is where I have, like, a problem and shit if that's true. By that logic, if it's basically the game actually secretly has, like, hidden stats it's not showing you, because those hidden stats it's not showing you is, like, the extra, basically, like, terrain stats and stuff, shouldn't the real racer, at least in specific circumstances, be better? Because if we get, like, that... This
the equalizing.
because it's 5 blocks, Wario speed for this was like 2 basically and a quarter.
Damn it.
Wario speed for this was like 2 1/4, and you said the actual speed fills in fills in that last block that basically has the quarter.
Hold
in
on. Damn it. I have to find the video and get exactly what that dude said, but
my point
because
is,
it is apparently averaging,
even if it's not the full, my point
this
is,
vehicle, but hold on, this vehicle, because it's a ground. Hold on. Wait, I think I just remember what people are hung up on. Wait, I think I just remembered what people are hung up on. It's the thing that 8 isn't doing. Oh my god, I was just trying to remember it, and in the middle, I just remembered it.
which is
It's what the speed stat is. I just remembered, it's not an average. Apparently, the speed stat that you see when you're choosing a vehicle, that is just ground speed. That's...
And then the extra is the filling in of everything else. So that would be why Bowser was the real racer, has such a high, because that is the vehicle's ground speed.
No, you're missing. I don't think you're fully getting what the supposed stat is. Apparently, that speed stat is just your speed on asphalt. That's apparently what they're displaying, and that's why people are like, it's lying, because it's apparently that is just your asphalt speed. That's not the speed stat to show the hidden actual average for, like, we're driving on water right now. The, like, 2 bars and the little nubbin, that's just apparently the baseline for asphalt.
And then with, like, this vehicle as a hypothetical, it would then basically be like, if this thing's true speed is 3 bars, those extra 2% of the 3rd bar would then be the off-road and and water speeds.
That's fucking cool. God, not trying to. If I'm explaining it poorly,
I like.
no.
If it is that
No,
the
damn
game,
it! I'm trying to remember what the. Hold on. Backing up kind of fucked me over.
they're right there. We have an entire section. There's enough. There's enough time where you can catch up. Especially if you do something. If the problem is that people, assuming that people aren't kind of stretching or misusing the word, if the problem is lying, I assume what it would then be if it's lying. Like I said, using this vehicle as an example, let's just for a hypothetical, say this vehicle's true combined speed is 3 out of 5 bars. And that sounds really good, but then it's like the first 2 1/4 bars or the standard road speed, and then that third bar is filled in with a sliver.
The way I think it was, God, I should have watched that again. Apparently, the speed stat in this game, unlike any other Mario Kart, is apparently just your speed on asphalt. It does not show you...
It doesn't show you water and off-road speed.
And apparently, because it is just the speed on asphalt, and it doesn't show water and off-road, the speed that you're getting is apparently sort of averaging, but is mainly focused on what your default ground speed is on generic track. Not showing you what your actual speed supposedly is on any other terrain type. And apparently because of that, your speed is actually far higher for this vehicle as an example, because
That's why I said as an example it would be like if this vehicle's full basically speed in the game's code is a 3. If it was a 3, the rest of that third bar would be filled in by off-road and water.
I win. Doesn't matter, I win. Yeah, that only took 30 minutes. Oh, and because this is successful and I have to deal with this, I got hit by a blue shell that I mistimed. Throw that in the failure footage. Don't forget about it. And I have to... I would have to find the thing and get exactly what the man said, but I believe it was the stats for vehicles are just their asphalt ground speed and nothing.
And then have the secret stats the game doesn't show you. That's them on.
And because of that, the reason this vehicle is actually disgusting is because apparently its asphalt speed is so cracked out of its gourd, it on average apparently is worth about like a bar-ish higher.
So like with Wario, look before we stop, because of that, just look at the real racer, because I want to see what the stats of that like end up. It's right above the B car.
Well, all right.
So then, by that logic, that would mean that those 3 are this thing's speed stat, and then it's like its real stats would be like a 3 and like a half, and that half of the final bar is then...
It's some... Before we fucking stop...
Because there's a bunch of other shit that I can have...
Before we stop, I might play it and cut past playing it and just repeat what the dude said, if I can quickly find that damn short for the Mario Kart, because it was a channel who's obsessed with Mario Kart, and I forget exactly what he said about the damn stats, and I don't want to misquote, because it is apparently the reason they're lying was something about that speed stat, I believe, is just asphalt speed. And because they're not actually showing the hidden value of how much bonus asphalt speed vehicles have, because this is a high asphalt car, it is actually like a bar more or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I might try to find the damn short. I watched that just the other day.
But also an idea like that, considering that the Real Racer people recommended was so good, if when you're doing the trying to play badly cheese thing for Knockout Tour, the idea of that like 3.5 was like Bowser being being this thing's ground speed and nothing more. That was kind of...
found the stupid short, and I might play it and cut past playing it and repeat what the dude said.
That was intentional.
Yes.
Though that is funny that...
Okay, I can cut back. Okay, I got the convoluted nonsense. They are... The speed stat, I had it kind of right the first time. It is apparently combining the averages of the stats in the game and not truly showing what they technically are, because it is not showing the bonuses that affect you. So Wario on the baby blooper, the 2.5 with the nubbin is Wario's combined ground speed, terrain speed, and water speed mixed together into one Omnistat. But then the game does not properly account for the bonuses in the stat spread. So, because the baby blooper, has such an alarmingly good ground speed rating, it should be basically like an extra bar or more at least with this fat ass. And the reason that people are more hung up on this is while stats in other Mario Karts were obfuscated.
Because even the video made a joke about it. I was fucking right. I knew I'd remember this because of internet bitching. They don't tell you the mini turbo stat in like 8 and 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, but it's...
But if you pay attention the way the bars are, it's split into much smaller chunks.
And its speed stat is more accurate to the overall speed, but 8's hidden stats are also obfuscated, but this is apparently the first Mario Kart. I had it right, that combined everything, and that's what people are hung up on. And because it's combining, but apparently it's still obfuscating those hidden stats...
And because of that, I now really want to know what the fuck the real racer stats are.
Because characters and kart combinations, and people already thought Wario naturally had really good ground speed. So, the reason people are hung up on this, before I end off, to just explain it now that I have it a little bit better, people were like, oh, if they would show the actual combination instead of just faking an average and not showing you the, way stats are obfuscated, Wario's ground speed and the baby blooper's ground speed should mix together and mean if Wario is not on water or terrain, he should basically have, an almost 2 extra bars worth of fuck you points. And that's what people are hung up on. It's the fact that it mixes. And isn't really showing the true stats. And since most of the game is counted as road, and there's very little straight out terrain or water, any vehicle and character that favors asphalt road type category,
hence Bowser and Wario,
which the video was just basically calling ground speed, that basically means by sheer hidden metrics, this is actually really fucking broken for a rounded vehicle, because this dude on most terrain types. Well, damn it. Let me reword that a little bit and then we need to stop. This combination with this man, this majestic beast, is actually better in most courses, especially dealing with intermissions, because intermissions basically all count as, road. And the game is kind of fuzzy on what it considers truly terrain, because they said dirt and mud.
But then they said the sled, so I think ice is also considered terrain.
No.
Then why did you make the sled vehicle better at terrain?
That's the confusing. The sled was better at terrain, but ice might count as terrain. That if it did, that would make sense.
But then again, you have ice and snow, so that might be what they're doing because it's a sled.
But
certain courses have snow that don't slow you down.
I
found the thing.
I need to end off. I just wanted to get.
I'll have to go look more into that later.
The reason everyone is running this thing, regardless, people have determined this thing has such an alarmingly high default ground speed that this vehicle, by sheer metric of its own hidden stats, is just infinitely better.
And it's also, again, funny, because you think, because the game apparently does kind of do this, vehicles are better at things that kind of make sense for them, like the one frog car is apparently better in the water. You think the blooper car would be better in the water.
Because Bowser gets naturally more speed, but it would determine, to finish the point, not ramble too much, it would basically be determined by, okay, so Bowser gets that much speed, but if Bowser has less terrain speed than Wario is a better character in a vehicle that Bowser looks like he would be better in, and that's what people are super hung up on. And as it was tested, Cow's terrain. So
I said things that are kind of fitting seem to line up. Where Cow, because, you know, dirt, they're better in terrain.
And they said that because of that, Cow got a record in Moo Moo Meadows. So dirt roads.
All is right in the world.
So dirt roads are terrain, but it does seem like, unless it is straight out dirt or mud and maybe ice, any dubious material seems to count as road.
I would assume a dirt, mud, ice, and sand are probably the things that count as terrain.
We'll have to look more into that. And in that way, before we end off, I would understand, oh, this is actually fucking stupid. Because everyone's doing this now. Because apparently this vehicle is the best ground vehicle. In a game that is almost exclusively road. Not that there isn't dirt or, like, you know, water, but...
Because the Ice Flower Knockout Tour is that, and Ice Flower, it takes you through, like, all the ice courses. I think there's a Knockout Tour later that's, like, almost all the water courses.
If we look at that would basically... Because apparently the way it's quantified, like, that rickety boardwalk would be road. Ice, I don't know. Sand might count as terrain, and then it's mostly road. Again, I'm not sure about sand. But you can see the general...
I would assume sand would be considered off-road because that makes sense.
Okay. I need to end off.
Yes, you can do...
No, I wanted to... Hold on. I didn't want to misquote the one guy, because if you misquote people, dude, you're just fucking lying. No, I said I couldn't remember what was said. It was something weird. Now that I've rambled for like 10 minutes. I'm gonna do my outro, but then I'm going to probably start organizing where I do my outro and I just cut to the failures or anything cool that happens while I'm basically resetting and additional unlocks and stuff. And it's just a mismatch, but with that said, we just did that one, so we just did the moon rally. This has been the 150cc moon rally video. That went well enough, all things considered, other than rambling for like 15 extra minutes, but it is what it is. Not much to cut to in the failure montage. Just a couple of things. But I'm going to chill and end off, as I always do. First of all, if you enjoyed the video, subscriptions to the YouTube channel help a hell of a lot. And honestly, subscriptions are the most important thing. Subscriptions go a long way. I have a bunch of links in the video description and the pinned comment. a lot of sites are cesspools, but if I ignored sites that are problematic, I couldn't promote videos online, so I just suck it up and use a bunch of different sites. I'm starting to try and have a couple of Reddit communities. I have some links and stuff. Respect other website rules and 18 plus spaces and all that, but to chill a little bit, we have a Patreon if you want to support us financially. It's under my name. The link is mixed in with the link is mixed in with the other stuff. Lowest tier is $1 and you get videos early. The second and third tiers are $2 and $3 respectively. If I get enough people on the second tier, I'm going to start letting people vote on what basically gets edited and stuff. Hold on. God damn it. Sinuses. I started coughing, so I basically had to stop chilling, and I likely just cut past that math. I was trying to say, if I get enough people on the second tier, I'm going to give people a list of stuff to basically vote on, so I know what to edit. And then stuff that's basically being worked on will basically be stuff that's going up on the channel more immediately. You can at least vote on stuff that's basically ready to go, but then the third tier will get to vote on what me and Carson record. I will give you a list of games we were going to play, and you can vote on the stuff we start working on directly. This way, the third tier has some extra control because you can basically choose out of a list what you would like to see us start editing. And I think that's fair. This lets the second tier be the minimum to actually affect what goes up more directly, but the third tier gets to affect what we play, even if stuff goes into backlog for a while. But I'm starting to ramble. I was looking at some hard drives and stuff. Battery backup. Financial support would be great. It's not needed, but with that said, I feel like I rambled a little bit too long. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later. it's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, I have a very controversial topic I wanted to make a question out of. How do you feel about people's hunch that the game is technically obfuscating stats because it is averaging your road speed, your terrain speed, and your water speed together into a single unified speed stat? Even if this technically means two characters with identical looking speed stats could be radically different because someone could be better on the water and someone could be better on regular roads. Meaning the stink here is more about the fact that two identical looking speed stats are not the same because those speed stats are a combination of all the basic terrain types mixed into one without actually explaining how much of each terrain type you're basically getting a bonus from. So people are essentially butthurt that the game is lying because people want to know all the little details because people want to be informed on, oh, this character and this cart are better on the water, while this character and this cart look the same, but they're better on regular road. But Mario Kart obfuscating things doesn't bother me as much as other stuff. Mostly because I find it funny because Nintendo does not want Mario Kart to be a competitive game. So they obfuscate stats and do a bunch of funny stuff so that you will basically pick your character, get some base stats, and play the damn game because they don't want people optimizing around, oh, this character and this vehicle are actually the best here, but this character and this vehicle are the best here. They just want people to have a variety, especially in Mario Kart World, where the standard gameplay will often take you across a variety of stuff. You might go from water to off-road. Unfortunately, most of the game is road, which does create a very big balance problem since most of the game world counts as road. If they did balance all the different terrain types better, then I do think this system wouldn't be that bad, but I also just personally have a disdain for sweaty tryhards that want to basically optimize Mario Kart into this serious competitive game for serious men when it was never designed to be that. So you're trying to put the square peg in the circle hole, and I like that Nintendo does obfuscate. This is why I said this would be controversial because of my opinion, where I think tryhards can be kind of useful for offering up some builds that are pretty decent to basically win single player stuff, but the tryhards still bother me because they're trying to turn Mario Kart into a serious competitive game for serious men when it was never designed to be that way. So, Nintendo is never going to let you basically see the true stats of a character and cart or whatever, because they don't want people to basically open this big menu, start writing down shit, and sitting there for hours changing vehicles and crap until they find the best, most optimized build, which is usually something that is the most rounded so it can handle everything specifically. So no matter what you get thrown at, you'll be at least okay. So it just bothers me. So I like that they do obfuscate, because I like watching sweaty tryhards get really butthurt over Mario Kart, as if Nintendo is ruining this basically precious competitive game. It was never competitive. You motherfuckers just turned it competitive and got mad when they pushed back against your stupid bullshit. So, that's my controversial take. So, you know what? It's fine. Because, from a casual perspective, as it should be, this means a casual person is not going to sit there, it turns out this character I like has phenomenal water speed and their road speed is bad. Oh, damn it, I can't be picking the character I like anymore. There's like almost no water courses. I'm going to be at a disadvantage if we do some races. Oh, great, I have to pick the character I don't like because their ground speed is amazing and their water speed is okay. It stops that shit, because Mario Kart should not be a mid-maxed competitive nightmare. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.